Welcome back to the channel, fellow aviators, for, you guys don't know this, the second time as I was halfway through the flight and I realized I had not hit record. What a dumbass. Anyways, welcome back to the channel, fellow aviators, to Friday Night Flights. In this episode, words are hard again, we're going to be traveling to the tropical island paradise of Bora Bora. We are flying the Icon A5 light sport seaplane, and I plan on landing at the Four Seasons Resort, where I almost got to in the previous flight that you don't get to see, where we can check out the iconic overwater bungalows. The goal of this series is to find the very best that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has to offer. Whether it's some scenic flights like we're doing today, or some more challenging approaches, no two flights are ever going to be the same. While flying is serious business, at least in the real world, here we get to have a bit more fun. So what better alcohol pairing can I make with this flight when we go in the tropics? How about an incredibly delicious and very appropriate, the Mighty Mai Tai. I've already pre-flighted a batch of Mai Tais that I will leave playing in the background while we get the A5 up and ready to go. Again. All right, so let's get out of here and let's see what we can do. Ugh, so annoying. And I have no one to blame but myself. All right, let's just make sure we got all the tie downs off, because that'd be super embarrassing. Looks like that's good. I don't know about you guys, but I think I may have once or twice forgot to take off the tie downs or the air intake covers, inlet covers. All right, so let's get this plane up and ready to go. It's actually a pretty simple checklist, shockingly so. All right, all the electrical equipment's off, and now we just turn it all on. We'll do that. We'll check the fuel shutoff valve, put that in the open position, because it would be a very short flight if we don't. And let's get this thing started. Let's get the strobe on. Brakes are set. Open the throttle just a touch. Check that the propellers are clear, and start it up. All right, make sure to set the throttle to 2,000 RPM. And we got the oil pressure is in the green. That's it, folks. That is all we need to do. And then for the engine run up, we're just going to advance it to 2,500. We'll turn on the exterior lights, which we'll do as we taxi out, and then we will pull the power and I just take off. So that is really the checklist. So, and very easy checklist for us to accomplish. All right, so having said that, I think we should just probably get going. Again. All right, let's get out of here. Unfortunately, we're going to have to sacrifice the ground crew. Sorry about that. One thing I will say about the Icon A5, as you see, an extremely easy aircraft to get up and running. I'd kind of resisted flying any of the seaplane stuff. I have no experience. I've never flown one, never gotten a ride in one. I don't know what I'm doing even more than normal. And so I've never really flown one, but this is super, super easy to get going. As we look down at the dashboard here, and really, that's really an appropriate term as opposed to a flight panel. And the reason it looks like this, like a car, is that the Icon team hired the head of BMW's interior design to make it. So it very much looks like a car. And that, I think, was the original design philosophy with the A5. They had hoped to make it somewhat of a kind of a utility vehicle for the wealthy crowd, though initially as envisioned, it was supposed to be relatively moderately priced, at least for an airplane. Um, so I think their initial batch of first orders, they had something like 35 to 40% of everyone that ordered a plane didn't even own a pilot's license. It really was supposed to be kind of like a sport utility vehicle, kind of how people buy ATVs and fifth wheelers to haul them in. Um, that was the market they were going for, and they relatively, I'd say they pretty much succeeded. Um, by the end of 2023, I think they'd sold about a little over 200 units or so, approximately. Unfortunately, they have had a series of fairly high profile plane crashes. I'm not entirely versed on who was at fault or what caused them. All right, so let's get our landing lights on, our nav lights on. I don't think we need the bilge running. I'm seeing a alternator light on, but I don't see an alternator switch, so I assume, like a car, once I get going, it will take care of itself. If not, that'll be a short flight, but we have floats. All right, let me take a drink, and let's get out of here. All right, positive rate. Gear up. Flaps up. Let's pull that throttle back towards the green here. Not blow up our engine. So a very unique altimeter there on the right. So Bora Bora is definitely an island I would love to get to. In fact, I promised my wife I will take her there. The only time I've been in the South Pacific, I say that like it's a humble brag, but I have been to the South Pacific. I went diving in Palau. The best dive trips of my life. Really enjoyed it. Got to see some of the World War II wrecks. Really, really enjoyable. So this week's been pretty easy for me at work. I've been on vacation, so I haven't had to do any. So I've got some vacation for this month and next month. So right now I am scheduled to fly, I think about 6 days this month. I've got a couple flights coming up Saturday and Sunday. Real quick, just down to Tampa and back. And then in one of those 6 flights, it's actually overtime, as I had another pilot call me up and ask if you could swap my 1-day trip for his 2-day trip, which I was happy to do. So 6 days of work, 1 day of overtime. Got the same for the next month of March as we zip through some of these valleys here, inlets. Airplane is nice and responsive. And continuing with my work schedule, I got the same thing next month. I got vacation in March, so I've got another. I just got my schedule. I think I've got 7 days that I'm working next month, uh, which sounds great, but actually, it was kind of a mistake. I really didn't want vacation in February, March, as there isn't a lot of extra flying. It's our slowest time of the year, so I like to use my vacation to actually pick up some extra flying, make some extra money. So the good news is I get to avoid flying and de-icing in the Northeast, which actually is relatively pleasant. Since I'm a captain now, I no longer need to do the walk around. That is a real benefit. Poor FO has to do that. But it gets a little bit more complicated as you have to go through the de-icing process. And once you start de-icing, of course, you're going to get behind on schedule. It's a pain in the butt. And then you have obviously some safety issues with icing and all the things that it brings along with it. That angled attack sensor right there at the top, very interesting. I've never seen one on a general aviation aircraft. I have three on the Airbus, of course, but we don't have an actual AOA an AOA display, so I don't know if it's what it's at. The computers are doing all the monitoring for us. All right, let's pull back and see what happens to it. A relatively steep climb. All right, let's head over to the main island. See if we can find the Four Seasons. So I just reach for a drink. The only problem I think I would have is I think I'd be nervous flying into the island in these relatively small planes if I'm not the one doing the flying. I've noticed that the older I've gotten, the more I actually want to do the flying and how nervous I get when I fly. That might be because I know who they're hiring these days, especially at the regionals. But I think I'll leave that topic alone. I remember when I was going to Costa Rica on a dive trip, we had to take a two-way caravan from out to San Pedro Island. And then all my dive buddies were like, "Hey, you sit up front in case anything happens." I'm like, I don't know how to fly a caravan, but okay. This is well before I went to the airlines. I'm still primarily a helicopter guy. I did own my Mooney, so I did know how to fly fixed wing. Um, but I suppose I probably could have landed the 208 if I needed to. It's just a very large 172. I think I could just enjoy some time here. We'll start a little bit of climb, go up to the top of this rock here. This formation looks pretty cool. So I just bought a brand new monitor, a 4K 32 inch, so a little bit of an upgrade from what I had before. It definitely looks better. I'm not sure if though if it's because it's 4K or if it's because I got what is that OLED, so I get true blacks now. Make sure I'm not slowing up too much. Looking for the Four Seasons. I see some bungalows right there. I believe that those are it. There's the airport there at 10, 11 o'clock over there. And we'll just call this kind of the downwind. Should probably turn on the water rudder. All right, hold the party. Here I come. I guess that would have been upwind, not downwind. All right. Well, flying my crosswind leg now. Right, got this way, and let's bring in first notch of flaps. All right, so downwind of beam, a little bit tight here. Second notch of flaps. Suppose if you're doing water landing, you have to look out for coral. we are here. Let's get out and explore. All right, not too bad for, I think, like my second water landing ever. I'll take it. All right, let's go to the bar and grab a Mai Tai. Another one. To be honest, I'm actually surprised at the level of detail we find here. Water actually in the pool, bar stools. I think this is how I want to check in when I get to the Four Seasons. All right, folks, I think that's where we'll leave it. I'm actually really surprised, fairly detailed brown textures. There's actually, as you saw, rooms modeled inside the bungalows. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this flight. I think next time we will maybe choose something a little bit more challenging. If you have any suggestions or thoughts where we might want to go, please leave a comment and we will make that happen. I'd also like to thank all my new subscribers, the great support I've been getting, really kind of overwhelming. So once again, just want to say thank you. If you like the content, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. It's time to head back to that bar, grab myself another Mai Tai. All right, take care for now. Bye.